The movie opens with a ship moving across the ocean, carrying a group of people on a journey. On that ship, we see a little girl named Amy standing quietly, looking sad. At that moment, her father, Gong, walks up to her and surprises her with a small radio as a gift. Meanwhile, everyone on the ship starts enjoying the moment, watching a group of fish swimming rapidly through the water. But something feels off. Those fish aren't just swimming, they're running, as if they're trying to escape from something terrifying. And suddenly, it becomes clear. They are fleeing from a massive monster. Within seconds, that monster starts heading straight toward the ship, and the alarm system triggers, flashing red warnings everywhere. Before they can even react, the creature slams into the ship. The entire ship tilts violently to one side, and people begin falling into the water, struggling to stay alive. The scene cuts, and now we see Gong lying unconscious on a beach. A man comes and wakes him up. As Gong regains consciousness, he looks around and realizes that many people are lying there, unconscious. But his daughter is nowhere to be seen. Panic takes over, and he starts screaming her name desperately. Just then, a faint voice comes through the radio. It's Amy. But before he can fully understand what she's saying, the signal cuts off. On the opposite shore, there are more survivors, and they begin signaling toward each other. But suddenly, Gong spots his daughter nearby. Without thinking, he runs toward her. Just as he's about to reach her, his friend stops him, warning that something is moving. Everyone freezes, their eyes wide open in shock. A giant monster snake emerges, moving toward them. Before anyone can react, the snake starts attacking, swinging its massive tail, throwing people into the air, and swallowing many of them whole. Seeing this, Gong rushes forward to save his daughter, but his friend grabs him, holding him back, and right in front of his eyes, the monster snake devours his daughter, and then disappears deep into the jungle. Gong collapses, screaming in agony. He just watched his daughter get eaten, and he couldn't do anything. But then, the radio makes a sound again. That changes everything. Now Gong believes that his daughter might still be alive. Determined, he decides to go into the jungle, but others try to stop him, warning him that entering the jungle means certain death. Despite this, one man agrees to go with him, and soon, a total of 6 people decide to enter the jungle together. From behind, the others keep shouting, telling them to come back. But they ignore every warning and move forward. Back on the shore, someone tries to call a rescue team, but due to the lack of signal, the call doesn't go through, and suddenly, the monster snake uses its tongue to pull him inside as well. At the same time, deeper in the jungle, the snake returns to its nest. One by one, it regurgitates the people it swallowed, throwing them out, and then leaves again to hunt. The captain regains consciousness. He tries to find a way out, but quickly realizes something terrifying. There is no escape. The nest is located deep in the center of the jungle. He begins waking up the others, and gradually, everyone regains consciousness. Then, he notices something unbelievable. Gong's daughter, Amy, is still alive. She wakes up as well, but their relief is short-lived. Around them are dozens of massive snake eggs. The captain reaches out to touch one of them, but Amy quickly stops him, warning that the eggs could hatch at any moment. That means baby snakes could emerge any second. An old man picks up a stone and smashes one of the eggs, thinking that if they destroy them early, the snakes inside will die. But the moment the egg breaks, a baby snake starts emerging from it. Everyone is horrified. They quickly hide behind a large rock as the baby snake crawls out and moves toward them. But then it spots a paralyzed woman lying nearby, screaming for help. The snake immediately goes toward her and devours her. Meanwhile, back in the jungle, the group searching for survivors hasn't found the snake or the missing people yet. Exhausted, they decide to rest for a while. During this time, Erdeni cuts into a tree, and a strange black liquid starts dripping out. Curious, another man lights a matchstick and accidentally drops it onto the liquid. Instantly, flames burst out violently. Erdeni quickly uses a fire extinguisher to put it out. The fire is gone, but the smoke starts affecting Gong. He begins to feel dizzy, his head spinning, and suddenly, he starts seeing things. He sees his companions laughing at him. Then the monster snake appears again, and right in front of him, his daughter shows up, asking, "Father, why didn't you save me?" Suddenly, Erdeni throws water on Gong, snapping him back to reality. It was all a hallucination. That black liquid releases a deadly gas, which takes control of people's minds. As they look back, they see something even more horrifying. The trees around them are not normal. Their branches are wrapping around people, trapping them tightly. These are not ordinary trees. They are deadly creatures, killing anyone they capture. Gong somehow manages to bring everyone back to their senses, and they all all start running, but one of their companions gets caught by the tree and is killed instantly. Back at the snake's nest, the captain and the old man begin arguing. The old man blames the captain, saying that if he had brought the ship safely to shore, none of this would have happened. A girl named Sushi steps in, stopping them. She tells them that if they don't come up with a plan, the monster snake will hunt them down and eat them alive. Meanwhile, Gong is still trying to contact his daughter through the radio, but there's absolutely no signal in this deadly jungle. At the same time, one of their companions goes to a river to collect water. While filling it, he hears a strange sound, and suddenly, a thick fog begins to spread across the jungle. Out of nowhere, a monster fish attacks him. Its teeth are massive and deadly. Shocked, he throws it back into the water, but within seconds, multiple monster fish start emerging from the fog. And these creatures can not only swim, they can fly. Somehow, they manage to hide behind trees. Then, Erdeni realizes something crucial. The fish are coming with the fog. So he quickly leads everyone out of the foggy area. And the moment they step out, the fish fall to the ground, unable to move anymore. Their lives are saved, for now. As they catch their breath, Erdeni notices something on the ground. Massive footprints. He looks up and sees a strange creature stuck to a tree. Everyone is confused. One man is about to throw a stone at it, but the old man stops him. Before anyone can react, a huge creature falls from above. It's a monster frog, and it has already eaten several people using its tongue. Everyone is terrified. The size of this creature is unbelievable, and killing it seems impossible. They immediately start running, but the frog uses its tongue again, grabbing one man. The old man is about to be swallowed, but he grabs onto a tree desperately. His grip starts slipping, and the others rush to help him. At the same time, one of them stabs the frog's tongue with a knife, but a strange liquid splashes onto his face, burning it instantly. Erdeni runs in and throws a sharp weapon at the frog, hitting its eye. The creature lets go, and they take this chance to escape. But the frog is still chasing them, and just as it leaps forward, destroying trees in its path, suddenly a massive monster snake appears and swallows the frog whole. Everyone is left in complete shock. The snake then tears the frog apart and devours it completely. But now, its attention shifts toward them. They start running for their lives, but not everyone can keep up. The old man and the injured boy, who were attacked by the frog earlier, are moving slowly, struggling to escape. They stumble and fall. The monster snake moves in, but suddenly, it gets tangled between several thick trees. One of their companions throws a coconut at the snake to distract it. That split-second distraction saves their lives, and the two manage to escape. But now, the snake shifts its focus toward the man who threw the coconut and begins chasing him instead. He barely manages to hide behind a tree. Meanwhile, the rest of the group hides behind trees, trying to stay silent. But the snake reaches their location and spots one of them. The terrified man folds his hands, begging for his life, saying, "Please don't eat me." But before he can finish, the monster snake kills him instantly. Now, panic spreads again, and everyone starts running without looking back. In desperation, they jump into a shallow stream and hide underwater. The snake loses track of them and eventually leaves. And for the moment, they survive again. Back at the snake's nest, the old man tries to find a way out, but every attempt fails. Suddenly, the ground starts shaking. Realizing what's coming, everyone pretends to be dead, lying completely still to avoid the snake's attention. The monster snake returns and throws the two men it had swallowed earlier back into the nest. Then it notices something disturbing. One of its baby snakes is dead. That changes everything. Fury fills the monster, and it immediately rushes back out, determined to hunt down whoever is responsible. The remaining eggs begin to crack. One by one, they start hatching. A baby snake emerges, and everyone panics, running in different directions. But Gong's daughter, Amy, is unable to run. She ends up right next to the baby snake. In a moment that feels unbelievably tense, she gently places her hand on its head, and surprisingly, the baby snake does nothing. The reason becomes clear. Earlier on the ship, Amy had read in a book that if a newborn snake doesn't find its mother nearby, it will consider the closest living being as its mother. And that's exactly what's happening here. The baby snake sees Amy as its mother, and it doesn't harm her. However, it suddenly grabs another man nearby and kills him instantly. At the same time, the old man manages to escape the nest. But instead of helping the others, he runs away. Back in the jungle, the group searching for survivors continues moving and eventually reaches a strange house. Without hesitation, they go inside. Inside, inside, they find chemical bottles and realize something shocking. This place used to be an experimental lab many years ago. There are pictures of animals on the walls, all of which were used in experiments. Now, everything makes sense. All these creatures, the snake, the fish, the frog, they were once normal animals, turned into monsters because of these experiments. They find a radio and try to contact the rescue team, but it's old and barely functioning. Suddenly, they hear someone approaching from outside and quickly hide. Moments later, a man enters. It's the same man who escaped from the snake's nest. Gong immediately asks him about his daughter, but the man lies, saying that everyone is dead, that the snake has eaten them all. Hearing this, he starts to leave, determined to find her himself. But Erdeni stops him. The next morning, Gong hears the sound of a helicopter through the radio. Hope sparks again. They rush outside, shouting and trying to signal it, but the helicopter doesn't see them and flies away. Just then, the radio picks up Amy's voice again. Gong immediately tells everyone she's alive. But the old man, trying to hide his lie, calls Gong crazy and insists that everyone is dead. However, moments later, they all hear the voices again, confirming that survivors are still alive. Hope returns to everyone's faces. The old man, exposed, runs away. Meanwhile, the helicopter begins approaching him, but suddenly the monster snake appears and swallows him whole. Now, Gong uses the radio again and finally connects with his daughter. Sushi tells him that they are trapped inside a huge cave and can hear the sound of water flowing nearby. Using that clue, Gong begins searching for the cave. Inside the cave, multiple snakes are approaching the survivors, ready to attack. But the baby snake, the one that sees Amy as its mother, starts fighting the other snakes. At the same time, Gong gets closer. Hearing his voice, Amy calls out to him loudly, and he finally locates her. Without wasting time, Gong throws down a tree root and starts pulling them up, but just then, the monster snake arrives, furious and unstoppable. Erdeni jumps in and strikes the snake in the eye with an axe. The snake thrashes in pain, and now its focus shifts toward him. Just as it's about to kill him, another companion attacks and destroys its second eye, making the snake completely blind. Meanwhile, Gong is still pulling everyone up. At that moment, the ship's captain sacrifices himself, pushing them upward to safety. Gong finally pulls his daughter up, and for a moment, he feels relief. But that moment doesn't last long. The monster snake recovers again. Elsewhere, the man who had escaped earlier tries to leave the jungle, but fate turns against him. He falls back into the snake's nest and is instantly killed by the snakes. The group finally reaches the edge of the jungle, but Erdeni tells them they must split up, or they'll all die together. Gong runs in another direction, while Erdeni and his companion decide to fight the monster. Erdeni attacks the snake, even slicing through its body, but it has no effect. The creature is too powerful. Just as it's about to kill him, his companion saves him, and they both escape deeper into the jungle. They reach the place where the toxic liquid was found earlier. The snake realizes it's a trap and briefly retreats. Meanwhile, Gong tells his daughter and Sushi to run far away. He decides to go back and help his friends. As he runs back, Erdeni shouts at him to leave, but at that exact moment, Gong turns and sees something horrifying. The monster snake has caught his daughter and swallows her again. He charges at the monster, attacking its body relentlessly, cutting it again and again. But the snake strikes back, knocking him down. Just as it's about to kill him, Erdeni grabs fire, drawing the snake's attention, and runs toward the area filled with toxic liquid. The snake follows him. At the perfect moment, Erdeni throws the fire onto the liquid, and instantly, a massive explosion of flames erupts. The monster snake burns, completely destroyed. The others cut open the snake's mouth, and Gong pulls his daughter out from inside. She is unconscious. Everyone believes she's gone. Gong breaks down, crying uncontrollably, but then she regains consciousness. She's alive. And in that quiet, emotional moment, after everything they've endured, the nightmare finally comes to an end.